Hello and welcome to The Singer's Piano, where we talk about everything to do with piano, vocal and songwriting for self-expression and healing. Now in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my opinion of the place that you need to be at to be able to perform live in front of people. Now I'm going to break down this video into 3 different performance opportunities, all unpaid and unprofessional, but I'm also going to be creating a video in next week's episode where I'm going to be sharing with you 3 paid performance opportunities that you can also do. Now, for some of you, you may have been learning to play the piano and sing for a little bit of time and you think you're possibly ready to perform. You're a little bit scared. You're like, oh my gosh, you don't quite know what people are going to say. Maybe they've never heard you sing before. Maybe you've never performed before. It can be really scary and it can be quite daunting. So I thought by creating this video, I might be able to help you a little bit ease the stress and anxiety of it all. But first of all, performing to the public, it is risky. I'm not going to lie to you. And some people can be mean. So I just want to put that out there because in the past, I'd say 99% of people have been super lovely, but you are going to get the 1%. And typically the 1% are often people that are closest to you. So just be aware of that. Like when you decide that you want to perform to people, I want you to be really careful about that first step because that can make or break your confidence. Okay, so let's start with the first step in performing. Ideally, you want to be playing and singing to a group of people who are really supportive, really caring, really loving. So I have a membership called Your Truth Amplified where I basically give people, I give my students a performance opportunity once a month, which is a really safe space where they can share what they've been working on that month. It could be completely raw. It could be a brand new song that I've written. It could be they've been practicing with their left hand and they've never done that before. And it's really about them sharing with other students the breakthroughs they have had. Now, is it perfect? No, it's not supposed to be perfect. It's actually supposed to be about them sharing the work that they have done that month. So it doesn't need to be perfect. But I always say to my students, it's really important to start performing as soon as you can so that you can build up those skills of calming that nervous system because it can be really nerve-wracking and being able to perform because that's a skill in itself. So that's the first type of gig is like a small amount of friends. Maybe you've got your best friend come round or you're in a church and there's maybe 5 people there. A very, very small, very casual performance where you don't have to be perfect. The next type of performance, and again, I encourage my students to do this, is either an open mic night or maybe a party at a friend's house, like a living room party. So with these type of gigs, you want maybe 2 or 3 songs and you want to know them really, really well. So unlike the previous performance whereby you were sharing with people what you were working on, or like I've been focusing on my belt and it may not be great, but your belt's really good. These performances, when you're at open mic nights, you want to know the song really off by heart, ideally. And the reason why I say off by heart is because at that point, you will have really practiced those songs. You will know the chord changes really well. You'll know the melody really well. You'll know the lyrics off by heart. So everything will feel super easy. And why I'm saying that you need to know things off by heart is that when you go to an open mic night, if you have never been before, it's really quite scary for some people. And the reason is because you're performing in front of other performers. So if someone who's come on before you is really good, it's like, oh my gosh, I've got to follow that. Yeah. So the nerves kick in, they really ramp up, and then you go on stage. And if you don't know what you're doing and it's not comfortable and you haven't practiced it like a zillion times, you're going to mess up. If you mess up, then your confidence is going to go downhill. So ideally, you want to know 2 or 3 songs completely off by heart. They're really, really comfortable for you. And then the third gig is really when you want to include a set list of about, 7 or 8 songs. And I would suggest like living room gigs are really good for that. or maybe you've got a small slot at a festival for free, or you've been asked to perform at a fete for free. It's still free, but you've kind of got a longer set. And in which case, I think, again, you need to be a little bit more experienced because they tend to be, again, a bigger audience. So, for example, I used to play at a few festivals around here. Now, it was a free spot for me because it was great exposure, but they were like 45-minute sets. So what I would suggest for that is you don't need to learn 45 minutes of material, which is probably about 7 or 8 songs. You don't need to know that off by heart, unlike the middle gig where you've got 2 or 3 songs. But you need to have a set of about 7 or 8 songs that you can play all the way through from beginning to end. So I often use Ultimate Guitar. I'll get the playlist up. It will have the lyrics, it will have the chords. Now, I will have practiced them. I will be able to play them really well. However, I can't remember the lyrics. I'm really bad for that. So I hope that's helped. I hope that's kind of given you a little bit of like, well, where am I with my performance? And maybe you're nowhere near any of them. So maybe if we go back to the first one, when we've got the, performing to maybe a couple of friends, maybe you're not even there yet, and that's okay. But I want to ask you a question, which is, are you being a perfectionist? And is a voice in your head going, I'm not good enough? Because here's the thing, you won't know if you're good enough until you actually perform in front of somebody. Yeah. So I would really suggest you perform in front of somebody. And sometimes the best way to do that is to randomly go online to somewhere that no one knows you. Like no one knows you at all. I don't know, like create a random TikTok account and you might do it that. So then you get, no one is either saying, oh, wow, you're amazing because they're your friend, or they're saying, oh, you're awful because they're your friend, like they will give you quite an honest opinion. But also, I would actually not suggest that for the first part of the gig. Maybe when you get to like the middle one, when you're at an open mic, I would maybe suggest doing that online. But the first type of performance is really just about you sharing your skills with people. So often you'll see at schools, like my son's 11 years of age, and he has a performance next week. He plays the guitar. I am going to go there and he'll be performing to maybe, 10 parents. And he's going to mess up. Of course he is. But it's going to be great performing opportunity for him because he's going to be able to he's going to have to handle his nerves. It's an opportunity to show us what he has been working on for this term. And it's going to be wonderful. We're all going to love him. We're all going to support him. And it gives him just a tiny little bit of performance opportunity. And so he can improve his confidence. Now, would I suggest he goes to play at an open mic? No. He's 11. 2, he's nowhere near competent to play at an open mic night. Do you see what I'm saying? So it really just depends on your skill set. Some of you may be like, well, I've done some open mics, so maybe I should do a living room gig. Why not? I used to do a lot of living room gigs. And what I would do is I would just go onto Facebook and I would shout out going, who would like a free musician for the evening? And someone would say, I'd love one. And then we'd go to their house, we'd bring a bottle of wine, we'd bring some snacks. I'd invite some people, they'd invite some people. And I would sing maybe half an hour, 45-minute set. It was lovely because of my friends. It was intimate. And then this is the great thing as well, because you're kind of coming into the pro area, is I would have CDs. I'd sell CDs that I'd made at home, or I had a bucket and I would just say, please, can people give me a tip? Just to cover my costs. So I hope that's been of help. Have a lovely day. And if you've enjoyed this, please subscribe. And next week, I'm going to be sharing with you how to know when you're ready to go pro. All right, take care. See you later. Bye.